Hi, Felina here with Skylar.
Hello.
And we are here to talk a little bit about a piece that we found, an article written about a co-working space in San Francisco. There are a lot of co-working spaces that refer to themselves as hacker spaces. And really this is a big part of where co-working grew out of 6 years ago out of the Bay Area. And hacker spaces, just as you might guess based on the name, typically tech focused, so hacking meaning hacking code and whatnot. So typically male focused, typically tech focused, and that's great. They're great spaces. They serve a target market. What kind of got me going was this article about a place in the Bay Area. They are having a Halloween party, and it's called Hackers and Hookers. And the subtext is, everything you can imagine by a bunch of 22-year-old boys.
It's like beer, food, dance, shots, and girls. That's what the headline was.
So girls are encouraged to dress like hookers. And this brings us into a much broader conversation around where Halloween really has evolved to. It seems like over the last 10 years. But the bottom line of that particular article is, really? I mean, come on, guys, seriously? And they got railed for it. So there's some comments and back and forth along those lines. They responded. They didn't do it very eloquently.
Yes.
So that spurred this dialogue towards where Halloween has come over the last 10 or so years. And maybe I'm just ignorant to it, but it just doesn't seem like it's progressively gotten worse.
It's gotten worse. And in fact, when I just went to Party City last week to find a Halloween costume, I've always been kind of a jokester and a prankster, so I always opt for like a creative or funny costume. So Party City has this wall of hundreds and hundreds of costumes. And what troubled me is as soon as you got to the section of toddlers and beyond, you saw the most oppressive gender stereotypes I've seen. So when I went to the adult female section, every single thing that I could be was a provocative version of something. They didn't have any creative costumes. It was a hot strawberry shortcake or a slutty beer girl, and those were literally like the titles on each costume. Women had no option other than that. And also, it was really sad to see that these costumes were happening with the younger girls too, like middle school age and elementary school girls too. Their costumes were all similar to that, essentially putting them on the fast track to promiscuity, I say. Yes.
And you were kind of digging around online a little bit. You pulled up some images today. What website was that where they're selling these costumes, or what was going on there?
So there is a manufacturer, I think they're called Dream Girls Costumes, and they're essentially the ones that design all these kind of provocative costumes. And they had one that they created a couple years ago called Anorexia. And the costume is of a girl in a black dress with skin and bones showing, and she comes with measuring tape, and it says anorexia. And the slogan is, you can never be too thin or too rich. And apparently this caused such a backlash that they pulled it off the shelves, but in some online stores it's resurfaced. And so Fox News did a small snippet about it, and it was in the Huffington Post. But I think it's a serious conversation, and we have to start asking ourselves, and even when we're starting to take things like that as a joke and humorous, we have a serious cultural issue.
Absolutely.
I have dark humor. I'm all about laughing and jokes, absolutely. But when we're starting to use words like whore and slutty as just part of our everyday dialogue to make a joke or a reference to something, or referring to an eating disorder, which is such a severe problem that so many girls in the United States are impacted by because of costumes like this at Party City. And we're taking it as just whatever. It's just something funny.
Yeah. It's like the one day a year that, and I don't know where this slippery slope has come, but girls are, you walk downtown San Diego on Halloween and you literally feel like you're looking at a bunch of, back to the beginning, hookers. Crazy. I don't know. Who gave the hall pass? Where or where are girls, why are they inspired to wear absolutely nothing on this day of the year? Like, to your point, why not the creative? I was telling the girls this morning, one of the coolest costumes I saw was like the simplest thing. Lampshade on the head, like a piece of like cardboard around your shoulders with a drape on it, and I'm an end table. Like, that's cute and clever and interesting, not like, oh my gosh.
And you know, to our gentlemen as well out there, we have to ask you, how are you helping to support and promote this kind of behavior too? Because it's definitely, there are two sides to this phenomenon.
Yeah.
So we ask you, what are you going to be for Halloween this year? And in what way are you either supporting progress or deterring it?
Yeah, and if you have any young women in your life, encouraging them, if they are going to dress up, to be a little more creative and not take the other road, so to speak. As I like to make reference, you know, use your brain, not your body, and really focus on truly what's important.
Done.
Done.